I'm back. Hello, everyone. I am Sarah Simon. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm coming to you tonight from Appleton, Wisconsin. And it is a hot and steamy day here in Wisconsin. Holy cow. I wasn't too sad that I had to work today because I was in air conditioning and it was pretty comfortable there. I think my lips are matching tonight. At least it kind of looks that way on my part, which is good. Looks like we've got Sandy who's jumped on. Hello, Sandy Calloway. Um, I am so excited to be with you tonight. Celebration is in full swing for Stampin' Up. We have, thanks, Sandy. We have almost, well, over 2 weeks. We're 19 days into celebration. There's only one celebration item that's out. Hello, Janet Q. Good. Hello, Karen Wetstein. One celebration item that we are out of already. And I'll bring it to your attention. Usually it's when it's gone for celebration. So these are note cards. So I have a couple of them because I was planning to do a Facebook Live with a gift set with these. And because you can't get them anymore, I didn't want to do something and get everybody like, oh, I just absolutely love those. And now I can't order them. So I will be giving some of these away as prizes in the next couple of weeks. I will do that. Hello, Denise Umla from Iowa City, Iowa. That sounds interesting. Hello, Lisa Nealon. So I want to get to Happy Mail. Then I'm going to go ahead and get to prizes. And then I have 3 cards for you tonight. 2 of them are celebration. And one of them is from the new mini catalog. And it'll be an introduction to fall. I know it's a really hot day and it's hard to think about fall, but I don't know about you, but I love fall. Fall is probably my favorite season because I love being able to throw a sweatshirt on again. And I love being able to walk. Oops, I better not say that too loud because she didn't get a walk today because it was kind of hot. So I love to walk Lila and be able to throw a sweatshirt on and be comfortable and not be like all sweaty when I get home. I love the colors of fall. And so anyhow, I have a card tonight that kind of gets us in the mood for fall. Hello, Robin Schilke. I'm also going to be doing a drawing for all of those of you that placed orders while I was on vacation. Holy cow. Thank you so much. I have the prizes that are here, and I will go ahead and award those prizes, but then I will also do the drawing for the shopping spree that you will get, and I will email the person if you're not on here tonight. And then for those of you that did place orders and it was $75 or above, I did put your festive pearls. I think they're called festive pearls. Those went in the mail on Monday, so you might have gotten them today. I have 2 cards that I have to write up the directions for, and then you will be getting the PDF. Those of you that are on my team, you will be getting the PDF for free. So anyway, I will be hopefully before the end of the night tonight, you will be getting that in your email so that you have those. It's 6 cards that are all from different stamp sets. There's fall and Christmas mixed together. And there's even one that's not fall or Christmas, but it's using a set that you can actually use a birthday card for. Hello, Diasplana. Oh my goodness, so many of you jumping on here. That's awesome. Okay, Happy Mail. Now, I received 2 cards from Bonnie Kelly thanking me for the same thing. So Bonnie, thank you so much for thanking me. I probably didn't show one of them because I was on vacation for I was on vacation for 2 weeks, but because this falls on a Tuesday, it's been 3 weeks since I've been with you. Hello, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you for those of you that are sharing. So look at this pretty card that I got from Bonnie. And then she's thanking me for the glossy dots. And then look at this cute one that also thanks me for the glossy dots. That's so awesome. And I love this little elephant with the little balloon. So cute. And her envelope was all decorated. And then I forgot to share this card with you. I got this a while ago from my friend Lisa Nealon. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? I completely missed this in the catalog, the July through December catalog. This comes with a little insulated bag and you get the cards and everything with it. It's absolutely adorable. And I love this card. Isn't that cool? And then I received this from my upline, Kelly, because I was in the top 10 performers on her team in the month of June. Thanks to all of you who order from me. So I love that little hippo. You're so hip. And then on the inside, she just said, congratulations on making top 10. So thank you to all of you that sent me happy mail. Here's the thing. I didn't stop my mail while I was on vacation. And I have a neighbor who lives across the street, and I kind of help take care of him. He's an adult, but he has some issues. But anyway, I help him a lot. And I asked him if he would water my flowers for me while I was gone because he was looking to earn some money to go to Life Fest, which is a Christian concert around here in Wisconsin. And so he was going to water my flowers. And I only have 3 things that he has to water. So I showed him how to do it. And then I said, oh, and by the way, do you think you can just collect my mail for me? He must have missed the by the way. So I happened to come home one night over the 2 weeks that I was at the cottage. I came home Sunday night and I went back on Monday afternoon. And oh my gosh, my mailbox was just heaping with mail. And then I just had a couple days. I left on Sunday or Monday again. And I got my mail on Monday before I left. And so it was only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I was home again on Friday. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was like, oh, it was nice to come and have some happy mail in with the bills. So thank you to all of you that sent happy mail. I have prizes. Oh, here's my slip. I kind of set it aside. So anytime you place a comment, your name, and I'm seeing your comments fly up here. There they are. Your name gets put into a drawing, and I choose somebody to win the cards that I made in the Facebook Live the week before. And so 3 weeks ago, we made this card. We used the same fold for both of them. Okay, and it opened up like that. We all said how much we loved this paper, that Abigail Rose, I think is what the paper is called, and the stamp set is called Abigail Cottage Rose, I think. Good Lord, I should know those by now. And then we also made this one from the stamp set that we're going to be working with tonight as well, but I didn't make a fall card. I made a summary birthday card that you could give to somebody. You could put happy birthday in there. You have to actually put anything in there. And for commenting last time, this is going to, oh gosh, Kathy Thinkbeiner. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, Kathy. I do not have your address. So if you could send me a private message, either on Facebook or my email is createwithsarahllc@gmail.com. I would get these in the mail to you as quickly as possible. And then for sharing, so if you get that little share button and you share this either on your Facebook page or with somebody else, you get entered into a drawing and receiving this washi tape, which is so fun. I got to play with this. I went to a stamping event. My friend Christine, who's a demonstrator, had an event last weekend. I went on Thursday. I got to spend some time with Karen Wettstein and Lisa Nealon. And we used this on a couple of the cards, and she used it in some different creative ways. So I can't wait to use mine. And here's for Kay Wearer. So Kay, I will get this in the mail to you for sharing. Thank you to all of you who shared. Holy cow, there were so many of you that shared last time. And then for placing an order, I know I also have the special going on with the shopping spree, but I also wanted to give something out because not everybody spent $75, so not everybody got into the drawing. But receiving this stamp set to get you in the fall mood, Soft Seedling. This one is such a pretty stamp set. I love the font. Thinking of you, so grateful. Hello. And then there's that leaf and then the little, whoops, on the other side, the little seedlings here. This is going to Denise Unlocked. So Denise, you're in Iowa City, but I will get this in the mail to you. So hopefully you'll have it in your mailbox when you get home. Thank you so much for all of you who placed orders. And now I need to bring I think there are 5 names in here. 5 people that spent over $75. Awesome. There might be 6. I can't remember. Did this last night. So I'm going to go ahead and pick, and Denise's name is in here, so she could get it again. So we will look, and our winner is Robin Schulke. So Robin, you can email me what you would like. I'll send you an email tonight. You can just reply to that, and we will go ahead and I will go ahead and get that order in. So that's all the business I think that we have to take care of. I like to just get the business out of the way. I don't like to talk a whole lot. So I'm going to go ahead, get to my other camera. I'm going to turn my overhead light off so there's less shadows, and we are going to go ahead and get to stamping. So I lost my mouse somewhere in transit. So let's turn the light off. Whoops, I forgot to turn my overhead light, this overhead light on though. Whoops. I think there's a short in this wire. It always like goes out and then I got to wiggle it and then it comes back in. So hopefully that's bright enough. I think it looks bright enough. Okay, so I am going to start. Everybody always asks me, where do you come up with your ideas? And I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I have total creative blanks. And so when that happens, there are a couple of things that I do, and I'm going to share a couple of those with you tonight. So the first thing I do is I look at the catalog. So I wanted to use a couple of celebration items because we have only a month and a half, less than a month and a half left. I just love this paper right here. It is called Silver and Gold, and I've got a pack of it here. And you can get this free with a $50 order. And these are like little embossed almost gold and silver. There's lines and there's dots. So there's gold and then there's silver ones. So we're going to be using this paper tonight. I also absolutely loved this stamp set. It's called Amazing Phrasing, and you have to spend $100 to get this stamp set. And it's so nice because you can interchange it with a lot of different things. So we're going to use the hey tonight. We're going to use the yoo-hoo, and we're going to, or woohoo, and we're going to use some of the other sayings that are on there as well. Oh, thanks, Mary. I am watching on Facebook too. Welcome back. Thanks. Yeah, for weight loss update. I stepped on the scale when I got back from vacation, and since I started, which was tomorrow, it'll be 9 weeks, I think, and I'm down 39 pounds. So I'm feeling great. I'm just really, really starting to feel great. So, so this Amazing Phrases is something that you can get for free for a $100 purchase. So we're going to combine these two together. So I opened this up because I wanted to get some ideas. What can I do? I was looking for a card last night. So this is the third card that I added. And I'm like, I want to do something with this product. Well, right here was a card that used both of them. And I'm like, I really like that. We're going to use that because it's a way for me to highlight for you how you can add some color to this boring white paper and make it look really, really cool. And so we're going to make this card right here. So my inspiration for card number 1 comes right from the catalog. Now, we are able to get like what's in the card and stuff like that. I never know where to find that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't do this. I do it as a business, but I have a full-time job, so I can't keep up with everything. So here is what I came up with for dimensions and for what we're going to use tonight. So we are going to use, our card base is going to be Coastal Cabana. And it's going to measure 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. So it's going to be a hot dog fold. And I scored it at 5 1/2 and closed it there. Okay, we also have a little piece for our greeting on the front that measures 5/8 of an inch by 2 1/2. Oh, thanks for all of you guys that are saying congrats. It is a lot of work, but it's I'm feeling great. And honestly, I need a program where I can have fast results, and I'm going to keep it off this time. But for those of you that have known me for a while, I lost 100 pounds about 5 or 6 years ago, and I've gained it back and then some. So this time I'm keeping it off. It's way too hard to lose it all. Okay, basic white. I have a piece that is 5 by 4 1/4. That's this one. That's going to go on the inside. I have one that's 3 by 5.5. That's going to go on the outside. And then I have a scrap that I cut out a label. And I wanted to make sure you knew where this label was coming from. This was in the holiday catalog last year, and it carried over to this year. And so I used this medium size one in this label over here. Okay, that's where that came from. Then this designer series paper, so I decided to use the silver and the polka dots because that's what they had used. This is 2 7/8, whoops, 2 7/8 by 5.5. And then I took a little 1/2 inch strip that I'm going to use on the inside. Okay, so that is it for measurements. I just realized I didn't wet up a chamois, so I'm going to grab, I'm using different colored ink on my stamp, so I'm going to just use a baby wipe. I'm going to set it here to use. Okay, so we're going to start with, let's start with coloring. Shading, that's fun. Okay, this is going to be for my envelope too. I've got a piece for my envelope. And where's my little strip? For the inside of my card. I don't know where it went. I'll grab another one. I can easily cut one. Okay, so this skinnier one, this is for my envelope. This is for my card. Okay, I don't want to mix them up. So I'm going to start with Mango Melody. And I have my Stampin' Blend, or my blending brushes. And I just have one that does oranges. So you can just like kind of, I like rubbed it off a little bit to make sure I got the ink off of it before I started in case I had been using pumpkin pie or anything like that. So I'm going to ink this up good. You get better coverage. I feel like it's lighter and then you can get darker if you start by holding it on the handle rather than like choking up and holding it up here. And I always start by brushing off the paper so that I get that ugly stuff out of the way. And then I come onto my paper after that. Okay, so I'm just going to start by putting some of that Mango Melody on the top. Okay, it doesn't look like much right now. This is going to be our envelope to put on our envelope. So I think I'm going to do kind of the same thing. So I'm going to start off and then work my way on. Okay, and then don't know where my strip of paper went. Oh, here's one, but I folded it. Let's just use this. This will work. And we're gonna go ahead, make sure I'm still on here. And add a little bit of that. Okay, the next color I'm gonna bring out is some Mint Macaron. And Mint Macaron is kind of like a cross between a blue and a green. So I had a green one. I just made sure that my really dark green was out of there before I put it in this lighter green ink. And again, I'm going to start off and I'm going to work my way back on. Now this one is really light. So I'm going to ink that up a little bit better. And notice I'm pushing on the top of my finger now because I'm realizing that I'm not really getting much ink by going down here and I want it a little bit darker. So then I'll go ahead and press my finger on it a little bit. All right, so I'm starting with the handle and I want a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of pressure on the top and then I don't really like that crease in there. I might have to find another piece. All right, and then the last color that we're going to use is Coastal Cabana. Let's see. Here it is. Oh, Mary, it's okay that you're late. You can always go back and watch. We just started stamping. We're on our first card, so you're not too late. I was originally starting at 6 o'clock and it was just too hard for me. So I moved to 6:30 to give me a little bit of time so I don't feel like I'm as rushed. I got to pet Lila for a while. I fed her. I ate. So yeah, I get home from work usually anywhere between 4 and 4:30. I get home from work usually, so today was a pretty good day. I'm training teachers on new technology that we have. So it was fun. I like working with the teachers, so that's really what my job is supposed to be all about. Okay, so we've got all of our blending done. All right, next we're going to bring in that label. And goodness gracious, ladies, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I do not see. Okay, I showed you the label. Oh, here it is. Down here. All right, I've got way too many things with 3 cards sitting here. All right, I'm going to start just like I did with my colors. I'm going to start with the Mango Melody. And I'm going to ink up the hay. And I'm going to put that up towards the top. All right, and I ended up just getting, because I didn't have a chamois all wet, just grabbed a baby wipe here real quick. Next I'm going to do the Coastal Cabana at the bottom, and then I'm going to do the mint macaron in between it. So, hey, well, clean that off, and then we've got our mint macaron. And this I'm going to, because I want a strip of paper in between there, I'm going to put this a little bit closer to the blue so that my strip of paper that I cut, which I'm also probably not going to be able to find. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, so that has to go in between there. All right, so I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit more space in between the 2 of those. All right, next, I'm not going to go too far with that. Next, we're going to take our label, and did anybody see it's in by the Rustic Harvest Suite? Stampin' Up! Came back with an embossing kit where you can get this nice tray that has a little thing where you can, once you put your powder in here, you can shake it back into your little containers if you have little containers. I already put mine in little Rubbermaid containers, and I have like a little spoon in there. But look at this. It also has this embossing buddy, which we used to sell a long time ago when I started Stampin' Up, but now they haven't had it for a while, and it came back in this kit. So this is just a little bag that's filled with some powder, and what it does is you run it over your what you want to emboss, and it takes out the static cling so that, or the static, any static that's on it, so that, or oils or anything like that, so that when you put your embossing powder on it, it only sticks to the Versamark sticky ink. There's also a little brush in there. And then look at this, one of those reverse tweezers. And let me tell you, this is a really nice one. So you can use this if you want to hang on to this while you're embossing it so that your fingers don't burn. You can also use this when you're making bows. It kind of holds your bow in place while you're trying to tie a bow. So love that. At first I didn't know what it was. I thought when I'm looking at the catalog, I'm like, is that a special kind of little brush to pull off some of the ink? I'm like, oh, that's a reverse tweezers. All right, so we are going to use the You Did It. So, hey, you did it. It's kind of a congratulations. Somebody accomplished something great. This could be graduation, it could be job promotion, it could be actually retirement if you wanted it to. All right, and then we're just gonna put our white powder on here. See how you could dump this right into that little container if you wanted to. And then that's gonna be embossed, heat embossed. Through the magic of TV, I have that done already, so you don't have to listen to my embossing tool. All right, we have our white layer. And I'm just going to do the woohoo on the inside in Coastal Cabana. So, hey, you did it. Woohoo. It's basically what we're saying to this person. Straighten this up. There we go. So fun. All right, I'm done stamping. I can put those stamp pads out of the way. Get the blending brushes out of the way. And all of this out of my way. I'm making room. That and that. Okay, let's put this card together. So we're going to go ahead and attach, get my glue out. I'm going to attach this to the bottom here. You can kind of see that crease a little bit. I don't know why I folded that. I think I thought it was a scrap, and then I realized. All right, and then this is going to be on the inside of our card. How's everyone doing in the heat today? Oh, Diane, it's okay that you're late. You can always go back and watch the beginning part if it was something that you wanted to see yet. Okay, the shorter one is for here. And this we're just going to line up. This is just 1/8 of an inch difference. So it's just going to hang out a little bit on either end just to set off that paper a little bit. And I'm just going to get and try to get an even little bit. Diane, I can't wait to see pictures from that wedding. I saw a few online. So excited to see. Right, and then this is going to go on here like so. Now I might be off the edge just a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and take my paper snips. I'm just going to follow along the edge of the card to trim off any little bit that's extra on the bottom. Throw that in my little trash cup here. All right, then this is going to go on here, but before we do that, we're going to take some of this silver cord to go along with the silver dots that are in the paper. I'm just going to cut some of this off here. Put my scissors back. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap this around my hand here a couple of times. I cut off more than I really needed. I'm going to sort of pull it in towards the center like this. And I'm going to snip this. Right, I'm going to flip it over. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape in the center on the back. No one's going to see my back, so I can go ahead and do that. And voila, that's how they did that ribbon that's on there. And I'm going to take some dimensionals. We're going to pop this up on the card with dimensionals. Looks like I'm going to have to cut some. I'm at the end of a sheet here. Don't throw those away. Make sure you cut them and save them. They work just fine. I don't like to have any saggy labels, especially when I have ribbon and stuff behind it. So I like to put a dimensional kind of close to the ribbon and then also on the ends. Okay, so hey, hey, hey. Kind of spread these out just a little bit. I think I like how that looks. All right, and then the "you did it" is going to go right in there, and I'm going to put that up on some dimensionals as well. Put that in the middle. And then I felt like it needed some bling. I thought I put some rhinestones over here. I'll go get some rhinestones. I see some right on my workspace from when I was working last night. All of a sudden I made that post last night that I was maybe going to have a third card, and I'm like, oh, I should probably work on a third card. Wasn't feeling super inspired, so that's why I went to the catalog to see if I could find. First I went to my swaps and I'm like, okay, I don't know that I need another fun fold because we're doing a fun fold. It's a third card, so I want it to be something that kind of goes a little bit fast. I wanted it to feature a celebration item because they're around such a short amount of time that I wanted people to see what you could do with the wonderful product that you can get for free. Okay, so there's that to go along with our card. And here are some rhinestones. You take your pick tool, get me some putty. And I think I'm going to take this medium size one, just put one on the top and put one on the bottom because there's enough dots on the inside. I didn't feel like I needed to do another one. So, hey, 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 you did it. Woohoo! Kind of a fun card, right? Super easy. Just let the paper do most of the work and just do a little bit of blending on it, and it went together really fast. All right, that is card number 1. Oh, thanks, Nancy. I thought when I looked at it in the catalog, I'm like, I like that. Okay, card number 2 is going to feature, get some of this stuff put back in its stand so I can find it when I want it, is going to be featuring, it's a stamp set and paper. I should have done a sampling of the paper. We're going to see 4 sides of the paper, but this wonderful world comes with, it's a stamp set and paper combination that you can get if you spend $100. We'll do the camper. I've got an idea for that, but so look at this. My mom saw a card made with this and she goes, oh my gosh, is that the paper? It's beautiful. And it really is. And this is one of those distinctive stamp sets. So these flowers look so real as well. So we're going to use the stamp set. We're going to use some of the paper. And this is coming from when I was sitting down on Sunday. Believe it or not, I was starting to plan on Sunday for this. I pulled out a card that I had made for a shoebox swap with a bunch of Stampin' Up! Friends when we went up to my cottage in May. And this was the card that I put together with some of that Butterfly Kisses paper. And so I used 4 different patterns, and then I just used a greeting, and then I had the butterfly. And I'm like, okay, I could do something like this. Oh, and then there's an embossing folder on that back sheet. So I really liked this fold. I thought that it was fun. I wanted to add a little ribbon because the floral images are kind of small, and there aren't dies to cut the flowers out, but they're pretty easy to hand cut out. So this is what I came up with using this wonderful world card set. So we're going to use Mossy Meadow. And so I have a piece of Mossy Meadow that measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So it's just going to be a standard card. And then the piece that I'm going to put the designer paper on is also Mossy Meadow, and that measures 3 1/4 by 4.5. Okay, so 3 1/4 by 4.5. And then we're going to have some rich raspberry that we're going to mix with it because that's a color that's in here. And I ran this through that stitched greenery. Look at that. Is that not the coolest? I just love. This was in last year's catalog and it carried over to this year's catalog, and I just absolutely love this. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 rich raspberry, and that's stitched greenery. And then I have 4 pieces. Let me see. I have 4 pieces of designer series paper. They all measure 1 inch by 3 inches. And I've got to get them out here. I think I have more than 4. I don't know why. I think I have double what I need. I just kept throwing things in there because I had things cut. For those of you that placed a $75 order and got the gem or the pearls, you got a card. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit tonight so you can see a different way to make this, but you probably got this card in the mail today with me as a thank you. So we're gonna use this piece, and we're gonna flip that over and use that one, and we're gonna use that one, and we're gonna flip that over and use that one. So those are the 4 pieces that we're gonna use, but we're gonna put it on the green, okay? So those are pieces. And then I have a 4x5 1/4 for the inside of my card. I have a scrap. Whoops, I have a little piece of trim for the bottom of the inside, and that measures a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And I have a scrap of white. Whoops, I have this for my rectangle, and I should have a piece to do my stamping. It looks like I forgot to throw that in there. So I will grab a piece of white that we can stamp on. I've got some sitting right here next to me. I always have a basket right near me of white, and there's like black and all that kind of stuff in there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start with our stamping. So on here, I found a thank you or a thanks from the succulents. What's the name of, not soft succulent, so succulent or something like that, that stamp set with all the succulents. There's a thanks in there that I really liked because this stamp set does not have any greetings, but you could put so many different greetings with it. And I'm actually going to stamp a little bit over to the right because I want to put my floral image to the left. Okay, so I'm just stamping thanks. Then what I'm going to do, there were 2 flowers. For those of you that got the one from me, I used this one that looks, I think that's an iris. I decided I wanted to use this one that looks more like a rose, only because I found that it was in more of the paper after I had them all, the other ones all done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use not Stampin' Blends, but these Stampin' Write markers. So I've got the Rich Razzleberry and I have the Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to color the stamp where I want it. So when you use this, you want to make sure that you use the brush tip and not the bullet tip. So you're going to use the brush tip, and you don't want to come down on it like this. You actually want to hold it on the side and brush it on the side. It'll save your marker a little bit more so that it doesn't, you don't like ruin the tips of it. So you don't have to brush real hard or anything like that. You're just kind of basically coloring the stamp. And when I want a stamp to be 2 different colors like this, where I want the greens part of it to have a green shade, and I want the flower to be a different color, I will use my markers. So I'm just going to go ahead and run over this. It doesn't really take that long. After you finish coloring it, what you will want to do is you're going to want to like huff on it. Sounds really, really funny, but you're just going to like huff on it to kind of moisten up the the ink. And look at that image that it stamps. Is that not beautiful? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stamp, even though I'm putting this on the inside, I think I'm going to stamp one of these down in the corner as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up again. It doesn't take that long to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it up. These stamps are so gorgeous. The paper's gorgeous too. They do have, I thought about taking one of the papers, and I can grab the paper here and show you. They've got some smaller images that are on the paper that you could like cut out with a circular die, like the layered circles, and then layer it with a scallop or something. Just gonna huff on it. Kind of see the fogginess of my huffing on the, there you go. So that's going to be on the inside. So that's really all the stamping that we're going to do for this card. All right. So I'm going to add this little layer, and I think I want to bring the Rich Razzleberry in because my base is Mossy Meadow. So instead of using the floral image, I think I'm going to use this Mossy Meadow side, and I'm leaving this blank so that I can write something in it. I also, for those of you that are stampers, maybe you've seen this before. If you've ever received a card from me, I tend to write my message on a Post-it note so that the person who receives it can re-gift the card. That way, especially when I'm giving it to another stamper who loves to make cards and things like that, it's kind of fun to be able to give that away. Karen, yeah, I love that flower. The other flower that I love in that stamp set, did I leave it out here? Or did I put it away? This one's really pretty too. It's a little bit bigger. And I saw somebody just take like, you could take a block and you could sponge on a block, or we have those, it's like different shapes that look like they're stamped. Like well, when you stamp it, I should say it looks like it's just a block. And then they just put, I think I can find that card. They just stamped it like in black or something afterwards. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have that card. I think that was a sample that was on my phone. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and put this down. My ribbon is going to go on, remember I said I wanted to add a ribbon. My ribbon is going, and I want to try to get as close to the edges as I can so that it doesn't lift up, but I also don't want glue to be oozing out the side. Usually when people say that they don't like using liquid glue, it's because they use too much of it. You do not need much liquid glue. In a case like this, you need to get it to the sides to hold down the sides because of it being, having the stitched image on it like that. But you really don't need to put a lot on, otherwise you can kind of feel the glue. It kind of gets, it feels wet or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of feels heavy. All right, next we're going to go ahead and attach these. Whoops. So this I think was the order that I was going to put them in. I'm just going to layer that on this green, and then that's going to go on the front. So I'm going to start with my ends. I think I'm getting close to needing a new bottle of glue. But you know what, ladies? I was gone for 2 weeks. I did not stamp for 2 weeks. And I came back and my glue, I had no problems getting it out because it stands in my little holder. And I just love that. Okay, I should, while I'm doing this, check to see if there are any comments. Karen loves the flower. Gorgeous stamps in DSP. Yeah. Kate, I love it. Oh, I usually do the two ends first, but we're going to chance it here. I'm going to keep going in the order that I'm going in. If I'm a little bit off on the end, it's homemade. You can tell it's homemade then. You do want to make sure that you cut your strips, your 1x3, so that they're going in the correct direction, especially when you can see that it's a floral. You don't want your flowers going sideways. So you do want to make sure that when you cut those, that they do go the long way. Okay. So there's my piece that I'm going to be using. Now I want to wrap this in ribbon. I'm going to ask you what you think. So on the cards that I sent to everybody else, I used this ribbon that is from the Forest Friends that comes in a pack, but this is really old olive. I don't know if you can tell that this is the card is Mossy Meadow and this is old olive. So that's choice number one. Choice number two is to kind of pull out the pink that's in there and using this pink ribbon. So go ahead in the comments. What do you like? Do you like the green or do you like the pink? And while you're voting, I'm going to start fussy cutting out this flower. Like how I did that, I planned that. I'm like, I'm going to ask them right before I fussy cut the flower so that there's enough time and then I'm not having to sit and wait for people to give an answer. Here, I'm going to go ahead and make this. Okay, I've got pink, pink, green, pink, green. Oh, it's alternating every other one. I love that when that happens. See how everybody loves something just a little bit different. Green, green, green. Okay, now we're getting a whole bunch of green. I should have given you the choice if you wanted the iris or this. I think this is a rose. Ooh, now I'm getting some pink. Pink, old olive. Okay. I haven't cut this one out yet because all my other ones I used the iris, and for this one I'm like, you know what? There's more of this color, this flower in there. I should go ahead and use, I don't know if this is a rose or what this is supposed to be. Kind of looks like a rose. Okay, I've got it cut out. Didn't take too long. All right, let's see what we've got. Pink, 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 olive, pink, green, 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 pink, green, pink, green, pink. All right, how about we do this? How about if I do this one in pink and I'll show you the green one since my other one is in green. So let's go ahead and wrap this, but this one is a little bit thicker. So I think I'm just gonna wrap it in a knot, tie a knot instead of tying a bow. And I have a little bit of a bottle here that I'm going to just tie this around. Okay, and then I'm going to snip this off. Where'd my scissors go? Here it is. I'm just going to slide it off, slip this off. And then because I want my knot a little bit more down here, I'm going to make this end a little bit shorter so that that goes like that. And I'm going to probably trim those up a little bit yet. So I'm going to do this like that, put my bottle away. Barb Mulligan did this the other day, and I'm like, I always forget to do that. I learned that a really, really long time ago, and I always forget. Okay, so I'm going to make these a little bit shorter. Okay, that's going to go on there. Okay, we're going to put that up on some dimensionals. How am I doing on time? Ooh, 7:16. Well, we do have a third card. I said I would do 3 cards tonight, and I did get a third card done. So hopefully you guys are all for sticking around, or you can stop back and fast forward through some of it and just get to the part where I'm making the card. All right. Alrighty, so we're going to put this down here. And then here's my label. That's going to go right there. And I need some mini, mini dimensionals. There we go. So I want them on either side of this ribbon. I think I can go just a little bit further yet. I like to do that so that I don't end up getting something that's uneven because the dimensional is right on top of the ribbon. All right, put these little dimensional backs in here. So I just finally swept my room the other day. Okay, so those are going to go there. And then we've got our rose that's just going to set right up there. So I'm going to put a dimensional up on the top. And then I'm just going to throw a little bit of glue in the center here of the flower so that it attaches to that label. I don't want to go too far because it doesn't stay completely on the label. We'll pull that off. And we'll set that like that. So there is our thank you card using that wonderful world. the stamps that are in there. And whoops, there's our inside with a little gift of a dimensional back. All right, so there's card one, or this card. And now I have these gems that we can add to it. I have 2 packs of them here because I used the green, but now that we used the pink ribbon, I'm wondering if I should use the pink. Let's use the green because I've got some smaller ones of the greens. The pinks I used on a different one, and I don't have many of those left. So let's put a little one right there. And then let's put a big one. I use a couple different sizes. Big one up there. We'll put another little one down there in the green. So there we've got some green and we have some pink. Okay, here it is with the green ribbon. Do you like the green ribbon better? This is with the iris rather than with the rose. I did the rose on the inside. So you can mix it up and make different cards. So, and then here I used the pearls and I colored them with a rich raspberry marker so that I had a rich raspberry little gem that's on there. So the ones that I sent out used the green gems, but they used the iris and they used the green ribbon. So a couple of different ways to do the same card. And again, that inspiration was from, I had originally gotten a swap card a long time ago, and then I made that butterfly card. And I have a little bit of designer paper. We can go ahead and add that to our envelope. See, I put my envelopes in this time because I forgot last time and I got done, and I actually just made envelopes for those cards yesterday that I'm giving away to whoever the winner was, Kathy Finkbeiner. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name. You'll have to let me know, Kathy. I don't know if you were on here, but anyhow, oh my goodness. All right, scissors. All right, we've got one more card after this. Let me just get this envelope done here. We're going to use that little pumpkin. All right, so there is our, I probably could have used the green back. I should have used this for the envelope, maybe matched a little bit better. Oh well, there's color, that color's in there, so we're good. All right, let me clean some of this up. Let me put my scissors back. Might take your pick tool back so I can find it when I need it for the next card. And I don't know why I had 8 of those, but we did. Okay, next card. Yeah, so here was that butterfly one. That was my inspiration. All right, next card. I used the wonderful Kathy Miller's inspiration. So we were in a shoebox swap, the same shoebox swap where I made that butterfly one. This was her shoebox swap. Look at that little fun fold going on there, where you see the greeting sneaking out here, and that's just floating on there, and it opens up. So we are going to make this card, but we are going to use the Hello Harvest. Okay, so we're going to use the Hello Harvest. The Rustic Harvest is the name of the stamp, the paper, or the suite. So this is all of the paper. So one side is black and white. The other side has all these fun fall colors. I'm going to tell you, I helped Lisa's on here. She did a knockout job at making a display with this. I gave her my cards that I made for swap to put on there, but holy cow, her display was so beautiful. So it has this. It also has some amber gems. It has some craft leaves that come with the suite. And then this suite also comes with the little embossing tray thing that I showed you. So, all right, let's go ahead and look at the dimensions for this. I have to keep this close by because we're going to stamp and cut. I didn't stamp and die cut everything ahead of time. All right, so our card is going to be 7 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you are going to score at 5 1/2. Okay, so that is this piece. Then the little piece that's going out in front here for mine It was 3.5 by 2 3/4. I don't know if I used the exact same dimensions as Kathy or if I switched it up a little bit, but that's what mine was. Then we're going to have Very Vanilla, a 4 by 5 1/4. Whoops, 4 by 5 1/4. Lisa's not ready to play with it. Yes, the display, oh my goodness, her display was wonderful. But when you have to make a display like that, it's like your whole life becomes that stamp set and that paper, and it's all you can think of. And it's like, I don't care if I ever see this stuff again. But then after a while, it's like, oh, I want to pull that out again. But I know how she's feeling right now. Okay, so this is 4 by 5 1/4. And then on top of this is going to be a piece that measures 2 5/8, whoops, 2 5/8 by 3 3/8. And I ran it through one of our new embossing folders that is called Leaf Fall. And it's a 3D, and it's got all these wonderful leaves that are falling down that are kind of on the left-hand side, and they kind of cascade down. But because my paper was so small, I filled the whole paper up. I put it up here enough so that all of it was filled with leaves. So cool. I used this crushed curry piece of the designer series paper. I like that too, though I use that in a different card. But we use this crushed curry, and this measures 4 by 2, which the reason that this was cut the way that it was so that you could do 4 by 2, because you can get in a 12 by 12 piece, you can get 3 rows or columns, I should say, that are 4 inches. And then you can get 6 that are 2 by 2. So you can get 4 by 6. So you can get 24. Am I doing that right? 1, 2, 3 times 6. No, 18. 18 from one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Okay, so 3 times 6. All right. And then I have a scrap to do our stamping, and we're going to do some coloring. And then I have this for our envelope. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's attach that right away so that I don't forget. And we're using did I say basic white? I meant Very Vanilla. Yeah, I did put Very Vanilla. Okay, good. I use basic white so often, but I find with fall cards, I really like the Very Vanilla. I just think with the fall colors, it just looks a little bit richer. I don't know that. The colors, I guess, the fall colors are like richer colors or something. They're not like real bright or anything. And so I just think that the Very Vanilla looks better with that. I did do some with white though in the cards that I made for Lisa, because there's the black and white papers. So there's that too. Black and white is just not something that I think of putting with fall colors. So that's why this paper kind of threw me a little bit until I started working with it. But Lisa made a beautiful card where she used the blending brushes, or you could use sponge daubers to color in those leaves so that you have the black background, and then the leaves were all different colors. You could cut these pumpkins out if you wanted to cut the pumpkins out. Okay, so we've got our envelope done. Here's my scrap. Put my scissors back. I'm going to bring the stamps out with some Memento ink. Put our envelope over there so I don't do something to it. All right, so we're going to be stamping this pumpkin. I don't think I got a big enough scrap. I just grabbed whatever I had there, so let me see if I have it off. Or Very Vanilla scrap here. Don't matter. Is that Very Vanilla? That's white. That's Very Vanilla. Goodness gracious. I was thinking I only had to stamp these flowers. I forgot about the pumpkin and that little sun. I thought I just had to do the flowers. I made this card such a long time ago that I just cut everything out last night because I was going to do it. Okay, see how I got that halo on there? Not a problem, because I'm going to be cutting it out. I'm not going to stamp it over because I'm not going to be, it doesn't matter. All right, let's go ahead and stamp our greeting. And then our stamping can be done. And I'm going to use Cajun Craze for that. Cajun Craze is probably a color that I only pull out at fall time. Oh, look at this. I've got Do you see that? I've got embossing powder in there. I got to clean that up. I must have had it out while I was doing some embossing. That's why you should always close your stamp pads up when you are embossing. I want to get this straight. So I'm going to stamp it here to see if it's on my block straight, and it looks like it is. So then I'm going to go ahead and line that up. I did a pretty good job. Okay, let's bring some Stampin' Blends in here and let's color. Okay, let's start with the pumpkin. I don't have to do the top part of the pumpkin. It's going to get covered with those flowers. I'm actually going to start with the light and color the light in. I'm going to do the dark, and then I'm going to go back over it with the light again. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm just going to, I don't really care how this is going to be colored in the first time because I'm going to end up blending it all, but I just want to give it kind of a base to start with. So I'm just going to color in with the light, everything. Then I'm going to go back and highlight with the dark, and then I'm going to blend it all in with the light again, if that makes sense. When I have a really big image like this and I'm doing it all kind of in one color, that's kind of how I like to approach it. So I don't have to make this first one perfect. When I go back over it with this color, I will then go all the way to the edge with it. Okay, so I went ahead and made my first is the light Cajun Craze. Now I'm going in with dark, and I'm going to use my bullet, and I'm just basically going to go over the lines that Stampin' Up! Gave me. So they gave me all of these lines for the pumpkin for shading, and I'm just going to go and color over them. And I'm just basically following the lines that are in the stamped image. Okay, so now you can kind of see, oh, I just put that on the wrong way. Okay, you can kind of see it's not done yet. I've got to come back with this. And now I'm going to take the bullet point, because with my bullet point, I can pull some of that ink to shade it from that darker color. So I'm going to pull it in sort of towards the stuff that was lighter already. And that's why they're called blending. I'm going to blend it in together. Okay, so now I'm going to come over to this next one, and I'm going to kind of blend that, pull this stuff, this ink that was up towards the top. I'm going to pull that and blend that down, and I'm going to blend this up. And then this stuff is kind of, I'm pulling it kind of over from the side a little bit and filling that all in. Okay, I'm going to pull this ink down. Pull in from the side, pull this stuff up. Oops, I got to get a little bit better down here. And then move in from the sides towards the middle. So I'm taking the darkest stuff and pulling it in towards the middle. Okay, and again, I'm going to pull down. I'm going to take this over here, and I'm going to pull and blend all of that up. And then I'm going to pull from the sides into the middle to get my pumpkin. So there's my finished shaded pumpkin. Okay, then I'm going to take these flowers, and I'm using the dark So Saffron, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm not really shading all of this. I'm just going to color in these petals with the dark So Saffron. I didn't add multiple, didn't really do any shading. Everything's kind of small in that. And so I just decided I was going to just use one color You could, if you wanted to, use the bullet tip on the center and then come back in with your brush tip a little bit, but these are a little bit small to do a brush tip. You really just, your bullet tip is your best option there. All right, so I'm coloring these in. I was going to have this all colored in so you didn't have to watch me, but sometimes people like to see, how did she do that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to color so I don't mess it up. All these little circles that are on here, this is a dark pale papaya. Yeah, dark pale papaya. So again, it's kind of in the orangey family. And I'm going to color all of those in with that. There are a couple. I'm going to take the lighter Cajun Craze. And there's like this little, it's almost like a little flower here. It's real tiny. So you just have to be real careful. I hope my head's not in the camera because I'm kind of looking in to try to make sure that I get all of that. And then everything else that's left are greens. And I just colored everything with the light Mossy Meadow. So I'm just gonna basically just have to run your marker or your blend through there. And again, you could, if you really wanted to blend this, but I found when I was doing it, it was easier just to do one color than to have to go back over everything. The pumpkin I thought looked better. It gave it some dimension by adding the different shading. But for these flowers or these leaves and stuff, I just didn't feel like it needed to have, see how tiny, I'm just basically making a little mark in some of them because they're so tiny. Oh, and somebody forgot to tell me to do that little flower down below while I have my yellow out. Okay, I'm going to take the dark Cajun Craze and I'm just going to color in these centers to really make this look like a nice fall color. All right, and I'll do my center down here and I'll come back. I usually like to do my lighter color first so that I don't accidentally pull some of the darker color into the lighter color, but I think I'll be okay. I'll just be real careful on this. All right, so we have everything. I don't have to do this because I'm putting the flowers over the top of that. I'm going to get the blends out of the way. I'm going to bring my little Stamp and Emboss and Cut machine. And I buried all the plates. So here are our plates. They're buried by things. Let's start with our pumpkin. And I'm going to go ahead and get the die. Like I said, I could have done this all ahead of time, but I wanted to show you how easy this is to cut out. So you could, if you have the big Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, you can cut all of these out at once. You could just layer them all on your machine and cut it out at once. But because I'm using the little baby one, I can't get both sheets of paper on there. I was thinking I just had to do the flowers. I kind of forgot about the pumpkin, to be honest with you. So there's our pumpkin. And then we have dies to cut out our other two flowers. Whoops, put this in here, sandwich in here the right way. Okay, oh, that's just wide enough. All right, and you're gonna line that up. And then we're gonna line this up. And instead of having to fussy cut out, we've got these dies that'll do all that work for us. If you like to fussy cut and you don't want to buy the dies, that's an option as well. One thing that does come with the dies, besides just being able to cut out these images, I'll show you some cool pumpkins that you can make with some of the dies that are in here. I'm going to show you some of the swap cards that I received, the ones that I made, as well as the ones that I received from other demonstrators. I think I just have two other ones besides mine. But I'll go ahead, put those away. put this back in here. So I'm talking about these dies right here. Oh, they make something just absolutely beautiful. So these are magnet sheets that I buy from, you can look for magnet sheets. You can look for like the photo magnet sheets that have like the little stickers on the back. I get these from Stamp and Storage. When they match something like this, I put it in like this, but if it's a bigger one that doesn't fit in here, I have a separate one for all of those. Okay, so I have all my things here. I think we're ready to put this card together. All right, we're going to start by gluing this to the inside of our card. Do we still have people watching over an hour later? Oh, I do. There's still 27 of you on here. I thought I would have bored you by now. Then we're going to add, these actually go together really, really fast. Once you have the coloring done, and all like the stamping and the embossing done, they did go together pretty fast. Oh, where's my little flower? Did I take, oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, did I take it off the machine? Okay. I'm actually going to take a bone folder. We're going to crease this a little bit. There we go. Burnish it. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this designer paper, or not designer paper, embossed layer onto this Cajun Craze layer. And that is just going to go right onto there in the center. And I just glued it down with regular glue. I didn't use any dimensionals. I'm kind of watching to see how far I can go with the glue. So I want this up, so I want to be able to still see the greeting. So I'm going about like to the top of this leaf is where I can put the glue. So I'm just kind of holding my finger there. I don't want to put it too far down because then it's going to get sticky down below. Okay, so again, I'm going to center that right to left. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of dry fit this. So that's going to go there. And those flowers are going to go over the top of it like that. I'm going to put these up on dimensionals. Now you could add ribbon to this. I found that there was so much going on with all the flowers and stuff that it didn't really need a ribbon, but I did contemplate putting like even the linen thread or something on it. And then I thought, after I put it on, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really like it. It kind of takes away from the flowers because normally the ribbon would fall somewhere up there. Okay, so here I'm going to put some dimensionals up on the top and just a little bit of glue down here to hold this into place on the pumpkin. I think I used mini dimensionals when I made my other ones for my swap. I'll maybe throw some minis over on the corner. Now I'm going to grab some Link of Stella and I'm just going to add, this unfortunately is something you're probably not going to be able to see, but I'm just going to add some Wink of Stella to the flowers. I'll hold it up. Maybe you can see a little bit of the shimmer, but I'm just adding it to these 3 flowers that are here. And I'm going to add it to this little one. Okay, with the little one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a tiny little dimensional to the bottom right here. so that the top is kind of free. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on the side here so that this kind of tucked underneath there, so that now they have to kind of flip it over that and then flip it back in to close it. All right, then we have these amber rhinestones, and I'm out of the little ones. I kind of like the little ones on here, but we'll go ahead and use the big ones because that's what I have left. I'm just going to add a little bit onto this card to give it just a little bit of bling. So we'll add one there, and we'll add a couple up there. And that is our finished card. You're such a blessing. I love that saying. And you could use that as a thank you. So we have that one. We had this one that we did. That was a celebration. We have this one that we did. That's a celebration. All right, let me show you my other samples that I have for. So I think I showed you this one last time because this is that same fold that we used. And it's basically the same thing, but I did it in fall colors using the paper. This was another one that I did using the leaf that was in there, and there's a little bit of Wink of Stella on there. And this uses the timber, I think it's called, maybe. It looks like a wood grain almost embossing folder. And then I also made this one. So this is using those dies that I showed you with the pumpkin. So they've got embossing on them. You have like an embossed image to give them dimension, and you just layer them on top of each other. And then this has, the top has a little bit of embossing in it as well. And then this one just opens up like that. And then Christine Bertram was in a swap that I did. So she used that. Here's that leaf that I was telling you about. And it looks like she embossed it with the painted background. And then she cut out that other leaf, and she used some of the stitched rectangles and then put a little leaf on the inside. And this is some of that copper paper. This comes from the sunflower dies. And then here's the other one that she did that uses also that falling leaf. This uses the Cajun Craze paper. You're such a blessing. And then this is some of the ribbon that I think this is the one that, I think that's from the Cottage Rose one, I think. So yeah, those are some samples of that. All right, let me get my light. And I'll come back to you now that I have a light. Whoops. So thank you so much for sticking around. It was, oh my gosh, an hour and 15 minutes. So thank you so much for sticking around and watching all of these cards. I will be live again next week, Tuesday. And then I think the week after that, I'm going to have to go on Saturday in the morning because the following Tuesday, I have a meeting for that retreat group that I planned. So if you are at all interested in placing an order and it's going to, you know that the order is going to be under $150, I would love it if you use the host code. That's right. Ooh, let's see, this way. Everything's backwards for me. That host code that's right there. By using that, I end up getting free stuff to be able to give you all the prizes that I give away. And so I will be back again next week. I hope that you enjoyed these. I will be posting all of the dimensions on a post right after this so that if you weren't able to take a screenshot, if I wasn't holding them up close enough that you could really see them, you can get a document. You can get to the document and be able to see it. So thank you so much for joining me. Oh, thank you for all the wonderful comments saying that you like them. Karen, you have a great week too. Everybody else have a great week. I hope that it cools off here soon if you're up in Wisconsin. I think it's hot all over the place. I saw somewhere that over in Europe, there were, I don't know how many thousands of people they said died from the heat. That's crazy. So hopefully that we get some relief from it soon. So, Melanie, I think you are up here in Rhinelander. Enjoy your time in Wisconsin. Did you bring this heat with you from Arizona? I'm just wondering. But anyway, enjoy your time up in the North Woods, and everybody have a really great week. I look so forward to seeing you again next next year, next week. And I will have some more fun projects. I think I'm going to break into the gnome set. I haven't done anything with the gnomes yet. And so I'm thinking next week we're going to have some gnomes. So I'll be able to share with you some things that you can use for the holidays, but then not the holidays. So you could use that set for almost anything. So anyhow, I hope that you have a great week. I will see you again next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.